When A was a child, he visited the countryside with his older brother and mother. It was a bright, sunny day. The rice field stretched endlessly, glowing green in the summer light. And yet, for some reason, the two boys didn't feel like going outside. They stayed inside the house instead. At one point, his older brother suddenly stood up and walked to the window. A followed him. Looking in the same direction, A noticed something in the distance. There was a person standing alone in the middle of the rice field. The figure was dressed entirely in white. From that distance, it was impossible to tell whether it was a man or a woman. What are they doing out there? As they kept watching, the figure began to move. Slowly at first. Then unnaturally. Its body twisted and bent in ways that didn't make sense. At first, A thought it might be dancing. But the movement quickly became disturbing. No human body could bend like that. Its limbs contorted at impossible angles. Wriggling. Twisting. Endlessly. A felt a chill run down his spine. "Hey, what is that? Can you see it too?" he asked. His brother replied, "I don't know." But right after saying that, something changed in his expression. It was as if he suddenly understood what it was. "Wait, you figured it out? Tell me," A asked. But his brother shook his head. "I know what it is. But you're better off not knowing." He never explained. To this day, A still doesn't know what that thing was. Later, when I heard this story, I said, "Why don't you just ask your brother again?" But the reply I got was quiet and unsettling. A's older brother is mentally disabled now. This is another story connected to the Japanese legend known as Kunekune. Something you're not supposed to look at up close. When I was a child, I visited my grandmother's house in rural Akita during the Obon holidays. I only went there once a year, so I was excited. My older brother and I immediately ran outside to play. The air was fresh, completely different from the city. We ran around the rice fields, enjoying the breeze. Then, around noon, the wind suddenly stopped. A moment later, a warm, unsettling breeze began to blow. "Why is it so hot all of a sudden?" I complained. But my brother didn't answer. He was staring at something in the distance. There was a scarecrow. "What about it?" I asked. "Not that. Beyond it." I looked closer. And then I saw it. Something white. About the size of a person. Far away, in the middle of the rice fields. Twisting. Wriggling. Moving in a way that didn't feel right. There was nothing else around it. No people. No reason for it to be there. I tried to explain it. Maybe it's a new kind of scarecrow. Like one that moves with the wind. For a moment, my brother seemed convinced. Then, the wind stopped. But the white thing kept moving. "It's still moving," my brother whispered. "What is that?" He ran back to the house and brought binoculars. "I'll check first." "You wait." He looked through them. And then, his face changed. He turned pale. Sweat poured down his face. And he dropped the binoculars. "What was it?" I asked. Slowly, he answered.
"You're better off not knowing."
It didn't sound like his voice anymore. He walked back to the house, unsteady. I picked up the binoculars. I was terrified. But I had to know. Just as I was about to look, my grandfather came running toward me. "Don't look. Did you see it? Did you use those binoculars?" And no, not yet. He collapsed in relief. Thank God. Back inside. Everyone was crying. Except my brother. He was laughing. laughing like he had lost his mind, and twisting his body, just like that white thing, wriggling endlessly. That sight was far more terrifying than what I saw in the field. On the day we left, my grandmother said, "It's better if he stays here. He wouldn't survive in the city. Someday, we may have to let him go into the fields." I cried. My brother was gone. On the way home, I looked back. For a moment, it felt like he waved at me. I raised the binoculars. He was crying. Even though he was smiling. He was crying. That was the last time I saw him. As the car drove away, I kept looking through the binoculars. Maybe, he'll come back someday, I told myself. And then, it happened. I saw something. Something I was never supposed to see. Up close. What makes Kunekune truly terrifying is that it never ends with just one story. Once someone talks about it, more people begin to come forward with their own experiences. Almost as if the phenomenon itself is spreading. In this video, we introduced two different encounters. One is the original story that made Kunekune famous. The other came later, from a completely different person. And yet, both describe the same thing. A white figure. Far away in a rice field. Moving in a strange, unnatural way. Wriggling. Twisting. Endlessly. And this is where it gets worse. In many of these stories, there is a rule. A very simple one. Do not try to understand it. Because the moment you do, something breaks. Not physically, but mentally. People who stare too long, or try to see it clearly, begin to change. They lose their sense of reality. They stop speaking normally. Some never recover. The name, Kunekune, itself, comes from a Japanese onomatopoeia. It describes something thin and flexible, moving in a loose, irregular, twisting motion. There is no perfect English translation. Words like wriggling or twisting come close. But they don't fully capture the feeling. Because Kunekune is not just movement. It's movement that feels wrong. Movement that your brain instinctively rejects. The story originally appeared on 2channel, an anonymous Japanese message board. At first, it was just a single post. But then more stories appeared. Different locations. Different witnesses. Yet the same pattern. The same shape. The same warning. Some people believe Kunekune is a kind of optical illusion. Something caused by heat haze over the rice fields. Others say it could be a distant scarecrow, distorted by the air. But that doesn't explain everything. Because in many stories, the movement continues, even when the wind stops. There is also another theory. That Kunekune is something the human brain is not meant to process. A shape that doesn't follow the rules of reality. And when the brain tries to understand it, it fails. There are even stories where people used binoculars to get a closer look. Every time, the result is the same. They regret it. And maybe that's the real horror. Not what it is, but the fact that we want to know. Even after being warned. Even after seeing what happens to others. We still look. We still try to understand. So if you ever find yourself in the countryside, on a quiet summer day, and you see something far away, in the fields, something white, moving in a way that doesn't make sense, don't look too closely. Don't try to figure it out. Just walk away. Because once you understand Kunekune, there is no going back. If you enjoyed Japanese horror stories like this, consider subscribing. And if this story gave you chills, leave a like.